I go up to the 100th floor or some shit in the World Trade Center buildings. The head of global sales says, you know who you should get on your podcast? This guy, IDGAF Food. He says, don't be a fucking pussy.
There you go.
And then
That's
found
what it's all
you.
about. Oatly put up a message on my oat milk post.
What did they say?
They said, take this down before our lawyers see it.
And then that art saved your fucking life.
Yes.
How did it save your life?
It gave me a passion and a coping.
Everybody knows you in our community because you're a fucked up drug addict and you're willing to set the record straight and make fucked up drug addicts feel good. Why food? We are at the DoubleTree Hotel in Park City, Utah. I'm with the artist known as IDGAF Foods. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Happy to be here and to finally meet you.
It's a pleasure.
Yes. We'll do something.
Soul brother.
Yeah.
Yes, very good. There you go.
All right.
Fucking I had a very big meeting at Spotify. I go up to the 100th floor or some shit in the World Trade Center buildings, and the head of global sales says, you know who you should get on your podcast? This guy, IDGAF Food. He says, don't be a fucking pussy.
There you go.
And then
That's what it's all about.
And so what is this? Don't be a fucking pussy. Where did it start? Why food? Everybody knows you in our community because you're a fucked up drug addict and you're willing to set the record straight and make fucked up drug addicts feel good. Why food?
Well, it's sort of a roundabout way in which I'll answer that and probably most of your questions, but
that's fine.
I would do strange things with strange, maybe compensating type behaviors where I'd put myself in very gnarly situations like I think most of your listening audience can relate to.
Yes.
And then I do like go back wherever and like wash my hands or shower like 5 times a day. And so I did a bit recently. It did very well. And I said, I don't give a fuck if this is one of the top 3 dirtiest restaurants in America. It was a Taco Bell. I used to pick up homeless people and prostitutes so they could help me find crack. So when I couldn't find crack, I'd go to like a truck stop, or I'd go straight into the hood. I'd find a prostitute at a truck stop, or I'd find a homeless person like in the hood in Hartford, and I couldn't get anything that day. And I'd like go into a trap and like smoke crack or do whatever I was doing with somebody that like was really in a spot where you could see that maybe there were a lot of open sores or something. And I'd go do the drugs and then go home and shower like 5 times. I do really weird things with food. Like I believed that the food was doing something to me internally, like poisoning me.
The food was.
Right. I'd smoke crack out of a rusty soda can.
But then like a Taco Bell,
right,
taco
exactly.
would be unhealthy.
Right, exactly. And I wasn't even really eating healthy. I was eating like cinnamon buns. But there were cinnamon buns that I believed were healthy.
Right.
Right. And I was okay to eat that package of cinnamon buns from the grocery store. But I was trying to compensate for the gnarly things I was doing. And in the process, I developed all these really strong obsessive compulsive tendencies, very disordered eating. And about 2 or 3 months before I started the account, I was in the grocery store and I had fallen into this trap in the algorithm of the food shaming people.
Who are the food shaming people?
There's all of these guys out there, and one of them tried to call me out for drinking like a pint glass of seed oil because he doesn't understand what I'm doing, and that's okay. I feel sorry for him. And I was in the grocery store and I was like in this part of the algorithm, and like nothing in the grocery store seemed edible. And now here I am with like I'm coming up on 13 years, but at the time it was almost a year and a half ago. So
like 11 and a half
yeah,
years clean.
exactly. I'm like, nothing in this grocery store looks edible. And I'm like majorly hung up on this shit. And I just said, fuck it. And I stopped worrying every day about what they were saying about glyphosate,
Were you
Red
really,
40.
were you not eating a lot of things because of things like
100%.
Okay.
100%. I was feeling like really crappy about my options. And I don't really understand the meaning of what I'm about to say, but somebody labeled me a martyr for orthorexia.
What is orthorexia?
I think orthorexia is like a desire or tendency to try to eat perfectly.
And that's what you think you had some.
I was
it's some sort of
very
component
disordered
of OCD.
eating, very like germophobic, right? Like
you were sure
I
there
would
was
shoot
shit and
up,
everything.
right? I would smoke crack. I would put myself in the most gnarliest situations. But now I'm like worried about every fucking thing I'm eating. And so there were like some things that happened all around the same time. And I just stopped worrying about what was in the fucking ice at McDonald's. I stopped worrying. I was buying Rayos. I call it Rouse in a bit, and
Me
everybody
too.
corrected me.
I called it Rouse. I still call it Rouse in my head.
And they said it's Rayos. And I'm like, thanks for telling me. So I was buying Rouse spaghetti sauce because I'm not at home. And that I felt it was the best option. And then the food shamers come out and they say, this is terrible. It's made with GMO tomatoes and all this other stuff. And I'm like, man, I've been spending like the extra $3 this whole time to buy the Rouse. And so and
you're from the Northeast.
I'm from Manchester, Connecticut.
And do you think that when did the inspiration say, I'm going to fucking eat whatever and it's going to conquer my orthorexia and my obsessive compulsive and I'm going to help drug addicts at the same time? What was the inspirational bolt?
I had no intention of doing any of that.
What was the first video?
The first video, I believe, was the Rayo's, the Rouse video. What started this, gave it the energy or got it in motion was I had like 5 things happen at once that were not desirable. I started to fucking have a pity party, and like using seemed like an option, and I can sort of get into some of what we were talking about before with like my hustle that I started when I got clean. Some shit fell apart, and I know that I know how to do social media because this isn't the first account that I've had that's like taken off. And I've always been connected to my past with drugs in a way that people have criticized me for in my recovery.
And related to, though.
Right. But a lot of the people that criticize my approach to this whole thing, like they fell off or they passed away or they're in jail.
You've outlived them.
Yeah. And so I'm still, because I'm like still in the fucking past. And like, I'm just never going to fucking get out of it, but I'm okay with it now. And I can, as they say, play the tape through. And in 2 nanoseconds, I don't fucking pick up. I know the one thing that is going to make everything worse is if I fucking pick up, period. I started to feel a little sorry for myself back about a year ago. And I was having all these thoughts about food and about like business shit and this hustle. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to make some new media because my artwork like has been destroyed by disruptive technology. And
what does that mean exactly?
It's like the Jimmy Fallon thing we could talk about. with my grandmother.
Do you want to start there? Because I want to go back to Manchester, Connecticut.
Okay, let me just finish this one.
Yeah, I want to hear
this one thought.
I want to hear the moment that all this crystallized.
I just got sick of hearing about the food, and I just said, wow, I used to do all this gnarly shit, and I'm just going to put this out there because it's authentic, and this is who I am, and I don't fucking care anymore. And I also have this OCD and germaphobe shit, and I'm going to eat this fucking food off the ground. And I immediately, there's like in the 7-Eleven bit with the hot dog, like you can see this like twinkle in my eye. This like twinkle came into my eye. It's like all of a sudden I'm like, I'm having fun doing this. And immediately people started sending me messages saying, hey, this is what we need. This dude's telling the truth. He's not trying to put up some phony ass shit like all this other phony ass shit we see all day. And I like this. And this makes me feel good. And then people started sending me messages like, hey, I was going to do drugs last night and I didn't. Saturday morning, I get a message like Friday night, I thought about using and I didn't. Hey, I'm going to go into treatment and these things have been helping me with some little bit of motivation. And
well, you were saying I said to myself, don't be a fucking pussy.
Right. They say, don't be a fucking pussy. And so there's something to the whole don't be a pussy thing. And I was talking to myself. I was telling myself to stop being a fucking pussy. Like, just stop being a fucking pussy. I'm here in my 9th life. I wouldn't go back to my previous life for any amount of money. And like, I'm going to start to fucking enjoy my life now. Because I've probably like it took me a long time to like enjoy my life.
Well, there's so many, I have a billion questions, and I want to thank you again for coming in because like you're our people.
Thank you.
Like
thank you for having me.
It's all about like if you go through the kind of shit that we go through and you can tell your story to people and they can get something from it and not feel alone and not feel like they're the only total fuck up. It's just a great pleasure for me to know you, and you do that. Fucking. And the other thing is you're a serious artist. So it's like when you started doing this, when your art actually helps you, like it changes the way you see the world and you change the world at the same time. Is that one of the reasons you did art in the first place?
This is the V2 of my art. The V1 was my digital art. Which is something that I picked up, like right into my last go at recovery, which was like November 5th, 2012. Right around that time, I just picked up digital art.
What kind of digital art?
Like crazy, whacked out, Pink Floyd, psychedelic stuff. And I just needed something to do. And about that time, it was the first time I messed with the Apple computer. And like something about the Apple computer really, like it worked. Like I could go make a little video or I could do something. And I never felt like that about computers before. I always felt like, get this fucking computer away from me.
But you like intuitively knew how to use it.
Yeah. And I just started looking at these different artists like Slime Sunday and Justin Mays, Beeple. And I was like, that shit's cool as hell. And I want to make shit like that. So I just figured out how to do it. And then, so that was between like 2012, right when I got clean. I mean, I got clean on November 5th, 2012. And somehow like this fucking passion just like dropped in front of me. And like I found something to do. Like when I wasn't okay. Like for 4 fucking years, alls I did every day, every night, like highly trained with no sleeping, right? Most of us are. I'm like a Navy SEAL of no fucking sleep. I still don't sleep. Maybe somebody could help me with that. I'm not even close to a Navy SEAL, but it's my understanding that military people
can live without sleep. They get trained.
And physicians and surgeons and so on. So I don't fuck soaking crackheads, right? So crackheads know how to not sleep either. So my drug of choice was opiates, but the crack, I got a fucking interesting gratitude for crack, but the art the art gave me like something and some purpose, and like it gave me something to perseverate on besides punching holes in the wall and fucking hating myself and being fucking miserable to everyone around me. And I just fell in love with it. And I posted some shit on Instagram, and like one day in 2014, maybe, some fucking musicians that I like started following me, and I was like, holy fuck. Like, I grew up going to see these guys, and they just follow me on Instagram. And then, like, fucking some magazine shared it, and I was like, holy fuck. But then, like, other people around me.
And you're talking about your digital art.
Right, yeah. Then people around me said, like, what is this shit? It's fucking weird. It's almost like they thought I was back on drugs or something, right? Like I was actually
I'm sure
clean.
It was very drug influenced because you were very drug influenced.
Yeah. Weirdo shit.
But I want to go back.
Yeah.
Because this is like that's the beginning of your recovery.
Yeah.
You grow up in Manchester, Connecticut.
Yeah, I did. Fucking shout out Manchester.
Rich, poor, middle class.
I spent quite a bit of time living at my grandmother's house. And my mother did the best she could, and she's finally she's got a great partner now, and you know, a lot of people in my generation, our generation, come from these divorced households, and it was back to grandma's house. And so I think that there were times when we had some money, and there were times when we were putting groceries back at the checkout line. You know, my mother made $30,000 a year and worked at a home for troubled girls in Manchester, Connecticut. And we lived at my grandmother's house. Fucking people think because you're from Connecticut, you got a trust fund.
Not everybody from Connecticut has a trust fund.
But there were times when, like, when they were married and stuff, and she had some money. And then I had another stepfather who we came home one day from school and he disappeared, and it was back to grandma's house because couldn't afford the house we were living in anymore. It was back and forth and back and forth. And she tried, and she did a great job. And families do the best they can. Like, I believe that. And like, life is messy.
Definitely.
And you know,
I've had a lot of joy blaming my parents on this show for my drug addiction. My mom is dead. My dad is alive, and I take great pleasure in making him feel bad. But the more I think about it and the more I talk about it, I think what you just said is like the most important thing. Everybody does their best. And here we are today. You know, like, how old were you the first time you were like, wait a second, and you used, and you're like, maybe I like this?
I think that depression was very much a part of my life from 6 years old.
Do you remember like the first feelings of depression?
I used to sit in a closet as like a 5 or 6 year old and listen to the George Winston album, December, the piano player.
I don't know.
It's a very solemn.
Can you sing a little tune of it?
He doesn't sing.
I know. Can you sing the melody of December?
It's an album, and I believe December's a track on there. I think Thanksgiving's a track.
I'll check
it
out.
It's got a snowy cover,
sad record,
like a snow. It's sad piano music, and I would sit in my closet as like a 6 year old and listen to this, and I was very sad, and I had a lot of empathy. I felt everything around me. I still do, and I when I was 15 years old, I got into weed, and like within 2 weeks, I was going out to Burnside Avenue in East Hartford to pick up a couple ounces of. I got a line in it. It says, I got a line in one of these fucking rap songs I made as a stubborn bastard. 2 ounces of Acapulco gold, fool's gold. The joke's on me. It's just sunburnt Mexican swag with a little bit of mold, but it's still all sold. We smoked it outside in December. It made her want me, and I flaunted it. I thought it was the shit, really. I was just a little punk kid peeling money, popping zits, talking shit. So, like, you know, we'd go out and get this sunburnt Mexican swag with mold on it, and they'd be like, this is Acapulco gold, right? I, like, saved up money to buy a mountain bike. For, like, 2 years, I bought it and fucking sold everything within fucking just stayed home from school and sold weed to older kids. My whole group of friends had weed. We were taking acid and like smoking crack. right away.
When did crack show up?
Right away, dude. Manchester's an interesting town. There's a lot of characters there and a lot of people from all different places. And like we would trade weed with some of the kids for a little bit of crack and we put it in a joint or
How old were you the first time you smoked crack?
15.
Really?
Like right away. Drugs immediately became my identity. Within 2 weeks of smoking weed, I had an Adidas hat that I took the letters out of and made it say acid.
Right.
You know, and that just immediately, drugs just became, I found something inside of myself that these made me feel like I was part of something. And they made me feel some type of way, like people liked me or I fit in.
And this is who you're supposed to be.
Right, exactly. And I'm this fucking stoner kid that does drugs.
And when did you fall in love with like these psychedelic bands and stuff?
Right away.
Who was the first?
The Grateful Dead, Fish, like fucking Allman Brothers. We used to sit around, listen to Pink Floyd.
And you sold weed and you'd smoke crack and you'd do acid.
Yeah.
Were you still going to school? Like, how were you like did you have a normal life or were you just like done with normal life immediately?
I went to school and I graduated because I just bullshit my way through everything. I just bullshit and
you
got
can read,
by.
You can read the room real quick.
I got by. Yeah. I got by. And
can you think of any like pivotal stories from between 15 and 18, like ridiculous caper stories kind of shit?
I mean, the first night I did a big deal in Boston, I was probably like 19 and I made like $800 in one night. And like all of a sudden, like the weight just started happening. And then like pretty close after that, like weight of hard drugs started happening. I think around that time, all these drugs, like none of them ever made me feel real awesome. But then Molly came in and E came in, and like the Molly came in around that time. And I fucking really liked the way it made me feel.
Well, you can understand why people are using it therapeutically.
And I did shit buckets of it.
Like when you say shit buckets, what do you mean?
Fucking ounces, dude. Fucking
ounces of powder.
Yeah, fucking sass, Molly.
You'd eat it, you'd smoke it.
Fucking
or you'd
eat it, snort it. Fucking all over the place. Between Boston and northern Vermont and Manchester, Connecticut. Molly was like my fucking thing that made me feel okay. And the first time I went to treatment, back when insurance fucking meant something, back when it meant something to have fucking insurance and fucking insurance did something, my mother dropped me off at a rehab center in my grandmother's 1993 Cutlass Sierra. And I went into this fucking rehab center and I told these fucking people, I said, hey, this Molly is like, was really by this time I was so fucking depleted I was insane, but like I was referencing.
Explain the depletion.
Oh, dude, fucking no man's land. It's kind of like, it's kind of analogous to a dope sick depression, but it's got a different vibe. And I was telling him, I'm like, yo, at the beginning, like this shit really helped me with like my depression. Same thing with ketamine. Like we were doing getting fucking shit buckets of ketamine. Just
where were you getting the ketamine?
It was
from?
coming up. Supposedly, it was coming from Mexico, and it was coming in Kahlua bottles.
Really?
Yeah, and we would cook it in Pyrex in the oven and just fucking crush up shards of it. Like intentionally, we'd leave it in shards, and just fucking blast it up our noses until we used to call them butter knives.
And
fucking
burn the shit out of your nose with these shards of ketamine.
Just leave it from fucking shards till the fucking floor was fucking, every room was an elevator. And one night
Wait, what do you mean by that?
Every room was fucking, the floor was dropping out and you know what I mean? It's like that but the ketamine made me feel okay too. So my point in this is like, I find it ironic that I went into this rehab place and I was like, yo, these things were like really helping me for a minute. And they were like, that's because you're a drug addict. And now all these motherfuckers are microdosing. We didn't fucking microdose shit. You know that. That's a played out thing to say, right? We didn't fucking microdose anything, but macro dosing, right? Mega dosing, hero fucking dosing.
Hero dosing, yeah.
Right. Now people fucking taking Molly for therapy, MDMA for therapy. They're taking fucking
ketamine.
Every fucking soccer mom with a mild case of anxiety is fucking hitting up the ketamine clinic. There's some fucking...
You know they're not fucking making shards, though, and they're Pyrex in the oven.
There's some fucking nurse practitioner that smoked a joint and they think they're a fucking shaman now running the K clinic. And I'm not even trying to be disrespectful. I'm not even trying to be... Because I told these motherfuckers way back that shit was helping me. So I get it. I mean, I don't take anything and I don't judge anybody anymore either.
Well, you went too far with it. You could not possibly maintain what you were doing. And these people are trying to have some kind of maintenance for their shit. And they the way you used and the way I used was not in a way that could facilitate a life. Like, what was your life like in that period?
My life was that at that rehab.
I like how you guzzle the water down, by the way. It's very impressive.
Thank you.
Yes.
At that, it's all or nothing, right? All or nothing. You know what I mean? All or nothing. My life at that time was...
Also, does Pit Viper sponsor you?
I love Pit Viper.
What is Pit Viper?
I've been rocking Pit Viper since they were painting the sunglasses in a storage unit in South Salt Lake. So Pit Viper's been part of my life for a very long time.
What is it? Just a clothing company?
Sunglasses primarily.
Okay.
And they've got some great clothing, and those guys are great. They're awesome guys. But my life at that time was not... Okay, this is the best way for me to say it. I went to this treatment center. It was probably not a good place for me to be because I was still trying to fit in with these certain type of people. And so it was like a movie. And they sent me down to this sober living house / halfway house down in Florida. And when I got there were like fucking hardcore junkies from fucking Fairhaven, Connecticut. And if you know about fucking Fairhaven. I mean, it's like, give me some shit. Washington Heights. I mean, give me some shit, right? Fucking Harlem, give me some shit. It's like Fairhaven, right? Hartford's fucking rowdy. But so I go down there and I'm like, I'm not a junkie yet. And there's these hardcore dudes from Fairhaven and shit, like
in Florida.
Yeah, working building these seawalls. Boca Raton.
Yeah, where were you at in there?
Boca.
What were you in halfway? You were in treatment there.
Halfway sober living facility.
I was
sober
there too.
living facility.
Okay.
And the dude who ran it, he said some funny shit to say. This dude always says, he'd be like, you know what your problem is, kid? Everywhere you go, you bring yourself with you. He'd say some shit. He'd say some shit, you'd ride your bike fucking 5 miles to get up and go get dope. So get on your fucking bike and go to fucking work, kid. He'd talk like that.
Did you feel any kind of like, I can do it? This guy's speaking my language?
No, I felt like I wanted to be a junkie. My heroes have always been losers. And how
old were you when you showed up in Boca?
21.
Right.
And so all these dudes there they were like, what's your drug of choice? And I was like, ketamine and Molly. And they were like, bitch.
Right.
So I could always like stop doing that shit though. Like I could always stop.
Well, you wouldn't get physically addicted to them.
I could fucking drink 20 beers a day and do cocaine all the time and do Molly and ketamine, and I could fucking stop on a Sunday and feel like ass till Thursday and be fine.
Could you do it often?
Oh,
that was part of the routine.
Yeah.
All right. Why would you stop?
I wouldn't stop, but I could. I would drink. I drank like a goddamn fish, and I did tons of cocaine, and I did tons of ketamine and tons of Molly. But then in 2003, the fucking 80s came around.
The OC80s.
And when I fucking, as soon as I did those fuckers, I was like, I feel like a real person. I feel brave.
Hold on. Where do they come from? What happened in Florida? Like, what happened?
What happened in Florida? I left.
You were just like, fuck this.
I
I'm leaving.
fucking left.
How long did you stay?
Like 4 months, maybe.
4 months. Did you get
months.
sober time when you were there?
Yeah.
How did you feel about it? Do you remember what it felt
I didn't
like?
fucking care.
You were like, fuck this. I'm going home.
Yeah.
And when you go home, do you fly home? You drive home?
I flew home and I went immediately to the Berkfest, to a music festival at Butternut Basin in Massachusetts.
Who plays the Berkfest?
Fucking like Mo. I think DJ Harry was there. Fucking like at Soundtribe Sector 9 might have been there, but I don't think so. Fucking Deep Banana Blackout.
Yeah, Deep Banana Blackout.
Yeah, we're going way back here.
That was a big Connecticut.
We're going way back
band,
here.
That chick from Deep Banana Blackout.
Jen from fucking Deep Banana Blackout. Yeah. So
the second you get there, are you using?
Oh yeah.
The second you get back to Connecticut.
Oh yeah.
Using. Okay.
Back to the same shit. Like that's my identity. That's what I did. I didn't like how I felt.
If you weren't
sober, clean, and so I just went back to it.
So who shows up with the 80s?
That's like 2 years later.
Okay, so give us the 2 years though, please. I'm enjoying all this.
In between the two?
Yeah, give me the 2 years.
What happened in those 2 years?
Yeah.
I floundered around, fucking smoked dust. Lived at my grandmother's house. Dust was like I could hold myself up on my left arm for like an hour. Dust was like I could hold myself on a lolly column in a basement, like in parallel to the ground. Dust was like, I'll never forget, this dude come over to me one night and I'm like fucking fucked. And he's like, he's a fucking OG type dude. And he brought over like a quart of milk. And he's like, he was so caring. This fucking OG type hood dude comes up to me and he's like, bro, drink some of this milk. This will make you feel better.
Because you needed the nourishment?
Yeah, I'm like, that was so kind of you. So apparently milk snaps you out of some shit when you're fucking dusted. But so yeah, it was just more bullshit of trying to think I needed to be taking classes but not going, mortgaging my fucking education. Just because back then you could just get student loans left and right.
Are you in school at that point?
Like at community college, like not going to Manchester Community College.
Were you dealing weed still or anything?
Not like periodically here and there.
To have drugs.
Yeah, exactly. To facilitate the lifestyle.
And do you have any dreams in your head? Like of what you want to do, where you want to go, who you want to hang out with? Like what do you want to be doing?
I wanted really nice dreadlocks and I wanted to be doing tons of Molly and acid and
fucking hippie
crushing
girls.
up Percocets and glasses of orange juice. That was my thing for a long time, but I could always stop that. Like if I always wanted perks, crush up fucking perks in the fucking orange juice and fucking drink them in the morning. I just wanted to do whatever the fuck I wanted to do whenever the fuck I wanted to do. Go to fucking concerts, go to Fish concerts, go to fucking Disco Biscuits concerts. That's what I was all about. And I was all about, I called myself a garbage pit, like jokingly. Like, what do we have here on the tray?
And I will do it.
Exactly. Yeah. But I did not, it wasn't making me feel how I wanted to feel till the fucking 80s came.
Not only was it not making you feel the way you wanted to feel, it wasn't getting you strung out. Right. You could, like you said, you could walk away from it for 5 days and it wouldn't really be a thing. Who shows up with the 80s? Because it must have been like every day that you're using. But when you compare it to the oxys or the heroin, you look at it as casual.
The 80s just all of a sudden showed up. Like they just showed up. Like as it was the next logical next step for this group of garbage heads, you know, like
it's the playbook of what happened.
Right. All of a sudden everybody's on them, right? Like a friend that had scoliosis who's passed away, right? Like the cook in the restaurant.
Your friend's grandma.
Right. Yeah, the dudes in the hood started having, yo, you want them 80s? You want them 80s? I got them 80s. You know, it's like
cheap at first, right?
It's just $40. $50, right? We were getting them for like 40 or $50. I heard people in Maine were paying like $120 for them, type shit. So, but then they were like fucking really around, right? Another concerned moment. I'm getting them from this dude, and he's like, I would do deals like to facilitate my usage, like a shiesty. Was very shiesty, like ripping people off and like rotations, you know?
How would that work?
I would do things like I always had balloons in my car in case I need to swallow the drugs, right? Like I'd put shit in balloons. I'd tell people that I got pulled over and I had to throw the shit out the window. So they'd be all dope sick walking around on the side of the fucking road with flashlights. Meanwhile, I'm lit up like a Christmas tree. Like I got fucking pulled over and I had to throw this shit out. Or, hey, I had to swallow it. Right. And we'd like you to take this laxative, you know, and I'd take laxative and I just didn't shit. Nothing came out and I'd get them to go away. Just constantly beating people, ripping people off, but never enough to not have them come back for a bundle when they really needed it.
So so when are you starting to sell heroin?
Never sold heroin per se. I would go get it for people.
And middleman.
Right. But pills.
So how do you think it worked that you could beat people and still have them come back? What was the secret to that? Because you don't beat them too bad.
Right. They need it, right? They're fucking sick, right? Well, I was supposed to get 1080s for you. I was supposed to get 5 for you. I was supposed to get 2 for you.
I got you 2, but they get something.
They get nothing.
Nothing.
They get nothing. But I didn't do it all the time, and I was just always running with these different groups of people.
Did you ever get balloons out of your shit? Did you ever swallow it and actually fetch the balloons?
Oh yeah.
What is that? What's that experience like?
Is
it easy to find?
Yeah, I mean,
does it come out separate or is it in the shit?
No, you have to fucking go through it.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
Gloves? No gloves.
Gloves.
A lot of washing?
Or plastic bag. A lot of washing.
A lot of this is where some of the OCD stuff is coming from.
Yeah. And people were trying to tell me I was getting worms from some of the shit I did, so I done it recently too. Yeah.
Did what recently?
Fucking gone through my shit.
Because you were scared you had worms from this fucking video stuff?
Yeah. No, they said, dude, you're going to get fucking worms from that. And I took these pineapples. They said, take pineapples and pumpkin seeds. This lady came in and she said,
why?
She goes, I gave this lady more authority. I'd like to thank you, lady. She came in and she said, she didn't say I'm a nurse. She said, I'm a former crackhead. You need to eat pineapple and pumpkin seeds right away.
This is recent?
Yeah. No, this was like 9 months ago.
Why though?
I had been eating like raw bacon. And so
for the videos or for the carnivore diet,
bacon sashimi, dude, it's my favorite.
Is that a thing?
That's how I eat it, bacon sashimi. I got in my head for a minute, but it was the fucking fibers from the pineapple.
That was the worms. It wasn't really worms.
It was the fucking fibers from the pineapple.
Let's go back. You're fishing through your shit for balloons.
Yeah.
How often did that happen?
A few times. I used to fucking couple times had to stash shit, like fucking get it out, you know.
How amazing is it to know that you have like money in the bank in there?
It's probably scary more than anything, especially if it's like crack.
Why is it scarier when it's crack?
It's aggressive.
Is having a balloon of crack, shitting out a balloon of crack is more aggressive than shitting out a balloon of dope?
I think that my drug of choice was opioids.
Me too.
And so my whole thing was I had to be well fucking oiled with opioids.
Or you couldn't function.
But then I needed the fucking crack. So like have you ever fucking been dope sick and smoked crack?
Yes.
It is a terrible fucking feeling. It's
not a good feeling.
So I hope that's answered your question. Right. It's like, what sort of state am I going to be in? Right. And this isn't something that happened all the time. It's something that's happened.
Coke. I wasn't dope sick.
Terrible.
It's
a terrible feeling.
Because you want to shoot something and you don't have dope and you have coke.
But I have an interesting relationship with crack, and I have a lot of gratitude for crack. Because when the 80s came around in 2003 and I felt like I found home, you know, it's like, I'm home. I can talk to people. I can fit in. I feel strong. I feel good. It doesn't make me tired. I need this to function. And
No, it's
within
energy, right?
2 weeks,
Yes.
within 2 weeks, I'll never forget. I was like, damn, this should get your mama hooked like a smallmouth fucking lake bass. I don't give a fuck whether she's an addict or not. Right?
You think two weeks of feeling like
2
I'm
weeks.
functioning, this shit is amazing.
2 weeks of doing 80s.
I have energy.
And I was fucking like, I need more. I know exactly where I was. I was in my car and I called the man for more and he left them on his mailbox on the side of the house. And I said, damn it, I need more of these. And that it was on.
You were snorting them?
It was on. Oh, yeah.
Was there a hustle? Did you develop a hustle at that point?
Getting them for people. Just getting them for people. And I was at that time doing just random deals, dude. Somebody needs an ounce of Coke. Somebody needs a half pound of pot. You know what I mean? Like trading.
Pay for the 80s.
Right. Yeah. And then just hustling. It was so weird to me, the amount of money that was like around me when I was using. And like,
And you didn't get to keep any of it.
For the first large part of like getting sober, like no money was around me. And I'm like, why the fuck am I doing the right thing and working so hard now as this clean person? And like, I can't, like, I'm fucking begging people for jobs, right? I'm begging for work. I'm begging. And I'm like not making money, but all this money, it's unfucking explainable.
Well, it's necessity is the mother of invention.
Waking up, it's like, holy fuck. Right. And that the habit of the 80s, like went from, I'm going to say $60 a day, right? Like 180, right? Or maybe an 80 and a 40, right? It got up to like 150 to 200 pretty quickly. And it stayed around the 150 or 200
milligrams.
Right. And then that's where then the heroin comes in and you start going out to the south end of Hartford.
When does the heroin come in and like, when's the first time you get sick? Do you remember or you don't remember?
Oh, I mean, I got sick pretty fast.
Right.
Because it was on. The heroin came in to 2005, maybe. It was like I got over the fear of having to send someone else out to get it for me.
Was it because there were no 80s?
When there wasn't 80s, the bundles in Hartford were fucking good.
Yeah. I never did fucking oxys at all.
No.
Never. Maybe I did like surgery, like you know what I mean, not using like because I had to. But no, I got heroin straight away, and there was no. It's like it's in Manhattan.
Well, you were in New York City.
Yeah, there was no oxys. But doing this show, it really makes me feel like I missed out because every person who comes on the show was like the oxys in the 80s were so much better than the dope they ever got. Was that your experience?
My experience was
you're like missed out.
That I don't think that I would necessarily put it as missed out. The way that I frame it is that I'm really grateful that I stopped before the fent hit.
Yep.
And I really wish anyone that's struggling recovery. That's my position on it. My position on it is like your mama could have got hooked on that stuff, the 80s. Right. And a lot of mamas did. And so, because the doctors were handing them out like fucking Skittles. And so the heroin in Hartford at the time was good. And it was available. And it was easy to get. Hartford's like was an open air drug market. And I'm sure it still is. The South End was all heroin. And the North End was all crack. And I'm sure the North End is still all crack, and the South End is probably fent.
All right, Dopey Nation, anyone who's in Connecticut by Hartford, let us know if you're using what's going on there. And I wish recovery for you as well, obviously. But I would like to know if that's still the case. And like, so you went from this hippie kid, ketamine, Molly, the oxy show up, and now you're in an open air drug market in Hartford. Did it feel like you had changed?
It felt like nothing else mattered.
All that shit was the past.
Nothing else mattered. Nothing else. And when it wasn't there, it was like, you know, the depression was so intense. It was like smoking in bed, thrashing, unable to move, unable to function, and just trying to figure out a way to get more money all the time for years.
And like you came up with these kids, like hippie kids, like who enjoyed this music and tripping out and having fun. How much did all these drugs decimate that community?
It seems like people that I grew up with are either really successful, really fucked, or dead. It's like, and I think that's a lot of this. This is what I tell people, because I want to be positive, and I would love to see. I love to see it when people say, "Hey, life's not that bad," because it's not. And there's no amount of money. And any motherfucker that wants to test me on this, you can fucking test me on this. You can put millions of dollars in front of my face. And you can say, hey, this is all yours, but you got to return. No, I would not go back for any amount of money. And so most of the people that I know, like I said, very successful, very fucked, or dead.
The successful ones probably didn't fuck around with.
They did. Because I think you learn a lot of skills in this stuff. And I tell people all the time, it's a very hard job to be a drug addict. And if you can apply
those principles to anything else,
50%, 70% of the hustle that you put in to fucking getting your shit and doing your hustle every day, if you can put that into something positive, you are going to be successful, and you are very smart. The smartest, most interesting, fun people that I know, the people that I trust the most, the people that I can relate to, that I know this motherfucker's been through something. Fucking people in recovery, some fucking drug addicts. And I respect that, because I know how hard it is. It's a hard fucking job. It's a real hard job.
And it hones you, right? It
100%.
sharpens the fuck out of you.
100%.
And we wouldn't be able to do the stuff we do if we hadn't done that stuff. Not to mention, our work is totally influenced by what we went through.
100%.
So I'm also just curious because, like, I like the sort of cultural anthropological look at the kids you grow up with, like these hippie kids and like these kids that go to shows and like that were tripping, and then Oxy show up and heroin shows up. What was the impact on that scene?
I don't think I ever really
were in it.
I don't think I was ever really in it. I was there for the drugs. I was there for the rush of knowing that I was going to go there and
get high,
tell people that I wanted a quarter ounce of Molly, and I'd run around thumbprinting everybody and telling them their Molly sucked till I was rolling face. And then I'd go in a tent and smoke dust and do nitrous.
Right.
Like the music was just
whatever
there.
Yeah. It's great.
The music was just there.
I appreciate that. So you're strung out on heroin from Hartford and crack from Hartford, north side, south side. What happens to you?
I think.
How long do you live in that situation?
The first, between 2003 and November 5th, 2012.
Which is a nice fucking period of time.
It got to a point where I stopped like going. There were no rehabs per se. It's like the first time I tried to get help, it was in 2007. I went to my buddy who had a fucked up car accident, started taking suboxone. And he was like, you need to go see the suboxone guy. It's really helping me. And I went and saw the suboxone doctor whose son had just OD'd. And he was on some type of crusade to help people with suboxone. And the suboxone was a beautiful crutch for me when I didn't have dope. I found it to be very harsh. It made me feel like, ugh.
I didn't like how suboxone made me feel at all.
I remember one night I got so fucking sick from it. I thought these motherfuckers told me it was like a big pile of Adderall. and I snorted a huge fucking pile of suboxone. It made me so sick.
You went into precipitated withdrawal. Oh.
And so 2007, I did a suboxone. Then in 2009, I went into the methadone line.
Where did you go?
A branch of the Hartford dispensary in Manchester, in my hometown.
Because you couldn't keep up with your heroin habit.
No, because my friends told me that it was helping them. They were like, yo, I'm on the methadone now. I'm like, I'm going to get on the methadone too. It was mostly that. People were like, yo, I'm on the methadone.
I went on methadone because I knew I could not keep up with my habit. And I just, you do the math in your head. Like, how do I stay high all the time? Like, it's going to require this much money. And I came to the decision like that I could not come up with that much money. So I needed to get on methadone. That's the way I did it.
The methadone in 2009 was people were getting on methadone. Just like in 2003, they started doing oxys. And people were like fed up with subs, right?
Right.
People were fed up with subs. They're like, the methadone's nice. And I was like really depressed. And I'm in the methadone program.
Were you depressed because of your habit?
Yes.
Were you depressed because you were worried about your future?
I think everything was coming to a head. I will say it was kind of the first time I felt my heart in a while. I remember being next to like the pregnant women in the methadone line, and like that touched me in some type of way. I hadn't really felt my heart in a very long time.
You've had feelings all of a sudden.
Yeah, it was more just like, damn, like, you know what I mean? Like,
you'd like shed a little reptilian brain a bit.
Yeah, and like I'd been in traps like everybody else where there were kids around and there was crack in the house and people were doing some type of shit with kids in the house and stuff, and like that never felt too great. But seeing like the pregnant girls in the methadone line, like that affected me in some type of way. And so I went in there and like I was mega depressed, and they sent me to this state-run psychiatric clinic and to get help, like mental health. And I had been in and out of mental health care since I was young. But like this time I go in there and like I came to this conclusion. It's like they were like, you're bipolar. And I went through cycles of Percoet, lithium, Lamictal, all these medications. And I have a line in there. In one of my shits, I say, all this shit you gave me made me smell my own brain. Like, of course, I've bipolar. I've been spending $500 a day on H and cocaine, you stupid bitch. Like, I feel like people need to do what they need to do to get by to the next day and ease the symptoms. But there's a line in a Fish song that I love. If you can heal the symptoms but not affect the cause, it's quite a bit like trying to heal a gunshot wound with gauze. So I'm in there coming off this like major speedball bender. And I'm not up to 500 a day yet, but I'm on my way. That line was from a song I just put out that fast forwards to more like 2011, 2012. I'm up to probably a couple $100 a day, $200-$300 a day, crack, heroin, oxy. This woman's like, your problem is you're bipolar. That's your problem. That's why you're doing all these things. You're fucking bipolar. And I'm in this room in this state-run clinic in this lobby, and it's not a good highlight. And this sign on the wall, and it talks about like your neurological activity with your pleasure and joy as it related to like having relations, going on a roller coaster, meth, heroin, and like everything else on this graph looks so bleak compared to all of these hard drugs we were doing. And I meant to call them and tell them to take the sign down, but because I think life is great.
What did the sign say?
It was basically telling me I had reached the height of pleasure with my drug use and enjoyment, and I was never going to be able to compete by having a decent relationship or going to an amusement park. And so this woman convinced me that I was bipolar. And it wasn't the first time and it wasn't the last, but I feel this is my perhaps greater point. I feel that drug addicts and alcoholics are fucking very ripe to be received by the mental health care system.
Right.
And I think personally, I don't judge anyone. I used to be really harsh about telling people how I thought it should be. I think people should do whatever they need to do to get to the next day. But I ain't bipolar. And it took me years to undo that diagnosis.
So when they make the diagnosis and you talk about it takes you years to undo it, what does it do to you when they give you a diagnosis like that?
Oh, same shit everybody else says. It makes you feel like you got an excuse for your behavior and the medication that they give you doesn't fucking touch it. So go back out to Broad Street and feel okay.
Right. Medicate it with what you know how to medicate it with. And what's trap house life in Connecticut? Because I never was in that at all.
I didn't have any problems.
But what is it like? Like who runs the trap house? And when you go, like, what does it look like? Does it look like fucking New Jack City? Does it look like a movie like that? Like, what is it like?
I think that
like Jungle Fever.
I made friends. I was a good customer. I didn't have any problems.
Everybody was happy to see you when you showed up.
I was a great customer. Right. You know, hundreds of dollars a day. I think that the places are gnarly. You know, I've sort of mentioned like children around and, you know, maybe not being fed, not going to school, you know, weird.
It wasn't good for them, but it was okay for you.
I mean, at the time, in hindsight, I don't feel great about it. And
I'm not judging you for it.
No.
I
don't think you are.
I'm more interested in like a snapshot of your memory of what.
When I broke people down to a conversation, they would say some shit like, this is all we have. Like, you know, my mother's this, my father's that. Like, I can't join the military. I didn't go to school. This is all we got. They took away the Hartford Whalers. This is all we got in Hartford now. And like, people were friendly. And they're just people trying to get by.
And having fun
right.
the way they can.
Yeah. If you don't act like a fucking asshole, which I didn't have any problems. I didn't have a single fucking problem once, ever. And you get to know people a little bit. And the gang shit is other type of shit. And the cartel shit is like fucking on a whole nother level now. I don't know if we would have been able to get away with some of the shit that if we were doing that shit now, I think life would have been different, right? If you've got 50 pounds of weed next to your head today, I don't know who's going to be shaking you down. I'm sure a lot has changed, but this is people fucking trying to get to the next day.
When do you ever have 50 pounds of weed next to your head? Was that like part of the hustles as you were in the later stages?
That was more towards the earlier.
And in the late stages, what's happening?
Fucking ripping people off, shiesty, just hustling every single day to get money.
And you mentioned when we pulled up to this hotel, you were like, one interesting thing about me is I've never been arrested. What kind of crime are you in at that point? And obviously, it's like, it's very hard not to get arrested because the frequency of your crime was very high.
I am probably one of the luckiest people on earth. And I think that most people who are in recovery and are really in it and have been where you've been will say, I'm one of the luckiest people on earth.
Definitely.
And I wear it as a little bit of a badge of honor that I never fucking got caught up in the game ever. And I believe that I think everybody has a superpower. I believe that everyone has a superpower.
You might have a few though.
And I could feel things around me that started when I was a little kid with depression. And I had all this empathy. And I could feel people around me and I could feel what was going on. And then fast forward to high school, being out in the woods with the kegs and drinking. I'd be up in a tree with a backpack while everybody else is down partying.
You'd be alone.
And I'd be watching for the cops up in a tree. And I'd be fucking running before anyone came. And anytime some situation felt some type of way,
you were out.
I was out.
Right.
Anytime somebody felt some type of way. Like there was this dude in Boston, he'd get like 8 pounds of weed. I'm like, why the fuck does this motherfucker want 8 pounds? What type of number is that? You got to feel somebody out real quick.
Sounds like a getting busted number.
Right? It's like we just met.
Right.
Are we going to do this deal? I got to feel you
safe.
And your presence.
Yeah.
Right?
Do I feel like this is something that is not going to be a problem?
And there was this dude, I was like, I think this dude was kind of a problem. I just don't think they cared about me enough. I think I was always sort of in this middle spot. You know, I was in this middle spot. But there was one night where I literally walked out of a place that was getting raided. Just fucking walked out.
So tell the story.
I used to do shit about I always had a reason for why I was there. And I told this, why you're here is not why I'm here. I'm here for this reason on business, and I need to go now. I need to leave. This is not why I'm here. I need to leave. And I would always try to have a plan where I knew how to get out of the house, or I had the drugs and balloons that I could swallow. And I never had anything on me. I always was just fucking felt clean. I think that skill transcended my addiction and has served me during my clean time with my ability to be successful in business as an artist.
What I want to know is, when do you feel the bottom coming, and like, what's the fucking exit of the whole thing?
So the exit happened in 2012, and it was very financial. It was like, holy shit, I'm spending $500 a day. I'm out here now in Utah. It's black tar, very disappointing. 30s, the Roxys, crack,
You were
benzos.
disappointed with the tar.
Fuck the tar. $500 a day. I'm like, God damn it. When I have the type of money that I want to have, because the hustle went right.
You don't want to share any of the financial hustle, because you managed to make a good amount of money doing straight shit at the same time. We don't need to say anything. Like, I don't want to put you on the spot. I'm just saying it's important, I think, for your story.
I have always been able to hustle money, legitimately and illegitimately. It has never been a fucking problem for me.
So why does the $500 a day trouble you?
It just got to a point where all of a sudden it's like, ding, ding, ding.
This is the limit.
Like, you are spending all this money. You are still at 7 o'clock in the morning crawling on the fucking carpet looking for more crack, or you're out in your car looking for that 30 you swear you fucking lost last week at 7 in the morning. You just fucking spent $500, and it was very much a financial decision. You hear about, it's like I said earlier, it went from $60 a day to $150 to $200 pretty quickly. And then it stayed around there. And then between probably 2010 and 2012, it ramped up.
How did you get to Utah?
There's a relative out here, and I got an interview for a pretty good job. And I had come out of the methadone program, Like, not, as in I dropped out of the methadone program, detoxed myself. It was the most horrible fucking detox I'd ever had. I said I'll never do drugs again, like most of us. And I was back fucking doing 80s again. And I called the relative and I said, hey, I'm back on drugs. I gotta get out of here. And I come out here, got this job, went to this job interview, dope sick as fuck. They're like, you're hired.
We like you.
I was like, you motherfuckers must be desperate.
No, I think you have more than one superpower.
You
is
must
the point.
be desperate.
You have more than one superpower.
And I was in a suit weighing like probably 160 pounds. I'm like probably 195 right now. I was sweating through my suit. Fucking my ass was sweating. I was just sweating. Dope sick.
Disaster.
Got this job. They're like, you're hired. And I started making money again. Just like that.
Decent money too.
Oh, yeah. And I was sort of okay out here for like 3 months. And sort of okay meant like lots of psych meds, lots of benzos.
All those lamictal drugs.
Pot. Yeah. And then just one day, got some 30s.
Where do you get the 30s out here?
Just talking to people, man. I would talk to people at work. I had no shame about it. Anybody having any dental procedures? You know what I mean? Has anybody got any Vicodin laying around? You know, even though I fucking didn't want it, whatever they had, you know, I would talk to anybody. I would go up to, I used to fucking sit outside pharmacies when I would get real desperate.
Right.
And fucking talk to somebody that was walking out of the pharmacy that looked shady. I love talking to people. And I have no problem talking to people.
I feel the same.
And I could always like finesse my way out or like get into some type of conversation and like get to something pretty quickly. And so the 30s came in because like the 80s were sort of like being phased out.
They were.
And I didn't care for those fucking Opana shits with the fucking beads inside, those fucking jelly bead shits or whatever the fuck they were. And so I got these 30s and I fucking was on. And then the tar came in. Fuck the tar. The tar was bullshit.
Where did you find the tar?
The crack was everywhere. Fucking, dude,
Would you find, is there a methadone clinic in Salt Lake City or no?
I was going to a methadone clinic in Ogden for like 5 minutes.
Ogden.
Yeah.
I was just in Ogden with my family.
Yeah.
Went to some silk screen shop and I bought like all these hats for $5 each. I don't even know why I bought them.
Yeah, you probably went to what the fuck is it called?
You know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Right? It's a little shop and it's like this old hippie guy and his wife.
Oh no, I'm talking about there's like a huge place.
No.
Okay.
No.
It's called like Next Gen or something, Next Generation. Anyway, it's just being around, man, just talking to people. And I preferred the 30s and just tons of 30s, just 30s up the fucking wall. And like I got what should have been my dream job. Got that job, then got offered a job, like big job. And I was like, thanks for bringing me up here. Like my first day, right? My first day, I fucking left, went to Roy, which is west of Ogden, and bought fucking 30s and crack and showed up to work at 1 o'clock whistling Dixie, ready to work, you know?
Feeling good.
You're right. And so that went on for almost 2 years.
Were you shooting at that point?
Oh, yeah.
When did you start shooting?
Periodically in 2005 or 6.
Was it a big deal to you to be shooting? Or was
the first few times it was? Like I'd have somebody to do it for me.
Mm-hmm.
I remember waking up the next day, like, what the fuck did I do? And then do it again.
Yeah.
And then just like rotating all over my body and trying to keep this certain persona of
somebody that isn't shooting up.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every addict comes to, I guess it's different for every addict. What do you think it was that made you realize it had to stop or you wanted it to stop? I think you're making an interesting point because every person gets to the end in a different way. And it's like, for me, it was, I wanted to get my family back together. And, you know, I had a kid with this woman, and I who's now my wife, this woman, and fucking, she finds out I'm using, and she leaves, and I'm like begging her to let me still use, and I'm like, I don't want. How could this be my life that I need to beg her to still use? And then I like went to a meeting, you know what I mean? And that was just weird, my moment. And you were mentioning Stevie Ray Vaughan, like Stevie Ray Vaughan, like the Stevie Ray Vaughan story I know is before he became a coke addict, and he's working in a French fry shop in Texas, and he wants to be a guitar player, and he's standing on a barrel of grease, and the board breaks, and he falls into the barrel of grease, and he's up to his armpits in grease, and he says, I'm never fucking working at anything except playing guitar again. Like, and I always thought that was a really important story to me, like that kind of a decision. What was your Stevie Ray Vaughan story?
He had a way. So Stevie Ray Vaughan always spoke to me, whether it was through his music or the way he talked. I think you probably call it soul. And when he would talk about getting clean and the way that he felt, it felt genuine. And like, he was very inspirational. And if you go back and listen to his interviews, like, you can feel, in my opinion, I can feel that he's grateful to be off the cocaine. And he was doing a wild amount of cocaine. Insane. And unfortunately, I think he died in a helicopter crash like a year and a half or 2 years after he got clean.
Yeah, totally.
But I'm sure, you know, he would have rather been clean. He was really inspirational to me always. And I enjoy listening to him speak still to this day. I watch those interviews. But it just got to be a point where I said, I am never going to be satisfied. And we all cross those lines, right? Like when my habit gets to $100, I'm stopping. When my habit gets to $150, I'm stopping. I will never shoot up, right? Then you're shooting up. I will never steal from my family, and then you're stealing from your family. And even when you're not stealing from your family thinks you're stealing from them.
And you might as well be, because you're so fucked up anyway.
So it's just all these lines in this progressive situation that you keep crossing. And there was something about the amount of money that I was spending, which was correlated to the amount of money that I was making through a legitimate job and through hustle.
Right.
Like just hustling all the time. I used to do some wild shit to hustle, like scammy shit.
Like, give me a good one.
I was working on a transaction with this guy, and I think he's involved in a pain clinic, and the feds are watching me now, and therefore I don't have the 50 oxys you just bought.
Right.
That type of shit.
Right.
Just a fucking story and a scam for everything.
Right.
Everything was a scam. Scammed everyone all the time.
And you're like, I don't want to fucking do it anymore. And the money.
No, I was fucking $500. It's fucking simple as that. $500 fucking dollars was a number where I was like, if I had 1,000, I'm not going to be happy. And this is insane. My power is getting shut off. I am driving all over the fucking state every day. I am stealing donuts from the convenience store. Like, I mean, it's just...
So how do you get off of it?
I went and I got a very small dosage of methadone from a physician. And I was at a point where I think a lot of people get to, where you just grind it out. You're a professional quitter. You know what I mean?
So many times,
right? You
know
can just
exactly
fucking detox yourself.
Yes,
you just know.
It just rarely works, though.
Right?
And for you, somehow, how did it work?
It worked just like it does for every other fucking person that fucks it up. At first, you would do shit like you'd buy fucking 100 Vicodin, right? I've got this
Yes.
ripping habit.
Yes.
I'm going to buy 100 Vicodin off this dude tonight in Walmart with this last several $100s I have, right?
I'm going to take 30 tonight.
I'm going to take this. I'm going to taper myself down.
Yeah.
And what do? You take those shits in fucking a week.
And then you go get more.
And it's like, motherfucker, you just bombarded your kidneys and your liver or whatever, like worse than a history, because that's all just fucking acetaminophen or whatever. I would do that type of shit. And then I stopped after that phase, and I just sit in a fucking bed for 4 days. And then I'd be like, oh, I did it. I can go do it again. I'm a professional quitter. I say this in my bits. I'm a professional quitter. I know how to stop. I know how to stop so good, I can start again. And so I did this little dose of methadone and got through a few like things. And then I got through this, like some situations that I needed to get through in my life with some methadone. And then I got sort of stabilized. And then the last 3 weeks before I finally quit, I probably blew through like $20,000 maybe. And like I went to a 3-day detox
Here?
at a hospital, just in a hospital bed. I took like a fistful of Klonopin and Opanas at the nurse's station. I stayed in bed for 3 or 4 days there. And then I just went and fucking detoxed myself in the bed. Never looked back.
Did you go to meetings?
I was also on a lot of psych meds. So once I felt I wouldn't recommend anybody do what I did, I fucking cold turkeyed the fucking psych meds.
Why did you do that?
Because I felt strong, and it was way harder than I thought it was going to be.
But why didn't you want to be on the psych meds?
Because I just wanted to fucking get away from everything. And I quit smoking too.
Cigarettes?
Yes. All just fucking stopped. Everything.
Did you lose your fucking mind?
I lost my mind for 4 years.
What were you doing in that 4 years?
Making pictures.
And that's when you got into this art.
Yes.
And then that art saved your fucking life.
Yes.
How did it save your life?
It gave me a passion and a coping mechanism. I had never been passionate about anything, and I had
Besides
never
money and drugs.
Right. Never been passionate about anything that wasn't going to kill me. And I had never had a coping where like, I'm fucked up. I don't want to talk to people. This is not okay. But I could sit down at the computer and I could make a fucked up, wacky, psychedelic picture. And like my problems were gone.
You know the coolest thing? When we started talking, you said when you were a kid, you started doing drugs because it made you feel like you knew who you were and who you wanted to be and what you wanted to be. And then in reality, as soon as you get sober, you actually find those things.
100%.
And that's what clicked in.
100%.
And like I got sober in AA, but I know that if I didn't have what I do, this thing, I don't know that I wouldn't be sober. I know that I wouldn't be happy.
Sure.
And I think when you talk about this purpose and this thing that makes you know who you are and love what you do, it's very inspiring.
Thank you. Realizing that I'm an artist, because a lot of artists struggle with imposter syndrome, there were a couple things that happened. My grandmother was an important part of my life. She helped to raise us. So did my grandmother. Through trials and tribulations associated with relationships, we lived with my grandmother for a while, on and off. Was always back to grandma's house. And my grandmother did a great job helping to raise us. And while I was making the digital art and getting in out of my previous profession and getting more into like marketing stuff, I feel like people were looking at what I was making or being like, what are you doing? What is that? That's so weird. That's weird what you're doing. Right? And I'm like now you're calling me weird? Like I used to show up to Thanksgiving 4 hours late. Like
totally strung out,
right.
Disaster,
exactly,
fucking covered in sweat,
right.
lying about everything,
right? Exactly.
Then you show up and you're honest and I'm making art, and you're like, oh, you're fucking.
I would
weird.
lie about what I ate that day.
Right.
Like I had, it was a fucking cheeseburger. I ate pizza, and so I would lie. I lied about everything when I was addicted. Everything that came out of my mouth was a fucking lie when I was addicted, and that's not rare, but. So I'm making all these pictures. I'm like building up this like portfolio and like doing cool shit for cool people on cool projects. But I didn't feel like the people around me were like really that into it or whatever. And then I made a record cover. And by this time I had been clean for like 5 or 6 years, maybe. And my grandmother knew. She knew that I was a drug addict. I went to see her one time when she broke her hip or something. And I went to see her at a skilled nursing facility in Connecticut. And it was like the first time I'd seen her in a long time. And she never done anything this before. She goes, you're a fucking, she didn't say fucking. She said, you're an idiot. She said, you're an idiot. And that was all she ever said to me, because she knew, and I had known she knew, but she just had to say that to me. She goes, you're an idiot. So that was in between me getting clean, her knowing and learning about me, and then me visiting her in the hospital. And then something happened while all this art was progressing. Jimmy Fallon held up a record cover that I made two.
Whose record was it?
It was Juanes and Alessia Cara. And he held up a cover that I made. And that was so cool because my grandmother loved Jimmy Fallon.
And she knew it was your cover.
Right. And so that sort of legitimized in my mind. I'm like, I started to feel like I'm an artist. And then I built a company around art. And it was very successful.
What did the company do?
We were in the music business. So we were serving the music business, an aggregator of material to provide a great customer experience for musicians, labels, agencies, all the way from independents to
crazy majors.
Yeah. And
was it mostly with art?
Yeah, 100%. And it was like the coolest thing. I'm like, we're artists. We built this thing from 18 artists to 10,000. And we've got this global situation. And like, I did this with my fucking hustle from addiction. That's what fucking built this. Nobody fucking gave me shit. I built this. I'm an artist. And I hustled all my way up through all this software experience and like doing all this shit. And I built an art company with a bunch of artists, and we're going to be successful. We are successful. NFTs were a distraction. Because all of a sudden, like, as a digital artist that has a big presence, you could come home and, like, I come home from going jogging and, like, there was like 15,000 or 12,000 USD in Ethereum, for a few of my images. And it's like, wow, this is fucking weird. That was a distraction from what we were doing in the community.
Did you make a lot of NFTs?
I made a few. I didn't really try. It wasn't my business. I had a business that had a community and a lot of artists, and we had a different product.
Can you explain how it worked or no?
Exclusive licensing. We were hypothesized a market based on data that was shared by Daniel Ek, the CEO of Spotify, at shareholder meetings, which was they were getting 60,000 uploads per day.
But what kind of art were they? What kind of art were you providing
Digital
them?
cover art.
For just new artists and
Musicians.
Right.
Musicians all the way from Grammy Award winners to
And they bought your guys'
hobbyists.
stuff.
Right. And so the NFTs just were distraction. But then AI really hurt the company a lot because that technology went after art and copy first, because that's, as I understand it, some of the most available data on the web.
Right.
Art and copy.
Right.
Images and text.
Right.
So part of what started the IDGAF Foods.
Was there going to be any
account-
other IDGAF thing that wasn't food?
No.
Okay.
It was.
I imagined a whole world of IDGAF channels. I don't give a fuck music.
Yes.
I don't give a fuck TV.
It was this art this is my art now. And this is what people need to.
It's a new medium.
Right. And so I'm fortunate to have people around me who let me be myself. And I think that that's probably one of the greatest gifts that I found in recovery is I like the person that I found. I surprise myself nearly every day.
Well, the best thing I heard you say, I mean, you said so much good shit, but it wasn't even recorded. When I got in the car with you, you were like, dude, the only thing that makes me feel good is helping people. And I just want to be something positive that helps people, and that's going to make me feel good. And that's what I want to be about. And that's what I Don't Give a Fuck Foods is about. And not only does it help other people, like all these people that message you that say, don't be a fucking pussy, but it also helps you in so many ways. We've been talking a lot about Kratom on the show. You ever do Kratom?
I don't know anything about Kratom other than when I first got clean, I was working on an addiction-related startup, and there was a guy we were interviewing who was shooting Kratom because he didn't have dope that day.
Right.
And he said it was helping him when he didn't have dope in a way that I described that was similar to suboxone.
Right. A young woman came on the show and she said, don't be a pussy and just do dope and don't do Kratom. And it made me think of you when the woman came on the show and said that. But like, what can people expect moving forward? Like, do you want to keep making these reels? Do you want to like get back to actual images? Like, what do you want to do? What's the big dream? What's the dream? IDGAF Foods.
The dream has become, as my friend's father said, there are no more withdrawals available to you, only deposits.
What does that mean exactly?
It means that I believe that my success will be directly correlated to what I can give. And success is not necessarily financial anymore. Success is being in control of my emotions. Success is being excited for tomorrow.
Definitely. Success is being able to help anybody, be inspiring instead of being somebody who sucks the world dry.
And is a tornado to everyone around me. Success is no longer this financial goal because I'm trying to fill a hole with a hole. I do not make money off my account. And that is by design. And I have said this. I am an artist. This is my art. And this is my truth. The currency that powers this account, it costs me money to have this account. The currency that powers this account are the messages that I get from people in 3 specific areas: addiction recovery, mental health, eating disorder. They're all kind of related, depending on how you want to look at it, but very specifically addiction recovery, obsessive compulsive disorder, anorexia, bulimia, disordered eating. Very specific categories that I get messages in that say this material is helping me. And when I started it, I was feeling sorry for myself. It was frankly sad. So I thought, and within 24 hours, people were like, this is the type of shit we need right now.
And did you feel so good?
Oatly put up a message on my oat milk post.
What did they say?
They said, take
Don't be a
this
pussy."
down before our lawyers see it. And I was very familiar with social media, but that one, I sort of went,
What was the oat milk video?
the oat milk video was me sitting against a building which is now abandoned in an area that I used to buy love roses in, cop in. And I had gone and got myself an iced espresso, and I had the Oatly there. And I said, I don't give a fuck if this oat milk is full of seed oils and harmful pesticides. I used to crawl around on the floor at 5 a.m. looking for remnants of crack rocks to smoke. And I poured it in there, and I said, delicious.
Well, you poured it in where?
I poured the oat milk into the coffee. I took a sip of the oat milk, and I said, delicious. I took a sip of the oat milk, I think, right out of the thing.
So
I don't
you
think I
didn't lick
sipped
the oat
coffee.
milk off the ground?
No, I was not at that point yet. I was addressing a different issue of my own. This is all exposure therapy for me.
Yeah.
It's all been exposure therapy.
Explain what exposure therapy is, please.
I'm afraid to fly,
So you fly.
so I'm going to get a few airline tickets today.
Right. I'm afraid to eat raw bacon, so here we go. Here we go.
So
I'm afraid to eat hot dogs off the ground.
And so Oatly came in on that bit pretty quickly. Pretty quickly that went on fire. And they said, take this down before our attorneys see it.
But why should you take it down? You fucking put oat milk in your espresso. Who the fuck cares?
I called a few people and I said, hey, you got any thoughts on this? They said, they're memeing you. And I said, what if I say it sounds like you said thank you incorrectly for this great exposure that I brought to them? So they said, that's great. I love it. So that's a line from one of my great buddies, Jimmy Jack the Heart Attack, that he taught me. It sounds like you said thank you incorrectly.
So that's what you wrote back?
That's what I wrote back to Oatly.
Right.
It sounds like you said thank you incorrectly.
Did they write back?
Shout out Jimmy Jack the Heart Attack.
Did they write back?
They wrote back in like a different place in the thread. It was sort of like they were moving around.
They knew that you weren't taking that shit down.
So, but throughout this process, the platforms, the bots, the algorithm have grossly misread what I'm doing at times.
You know they just took us down, right?
Oh.
They took us down.
Oh.
They took my whole Instagram shit down.
Oh.
I got it back,
Oh.
but I was down for 6 days, and they said it was permanent.
So you understand.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I mean, we were doing really stupid stuff.
So you understand. But my whole thing is like, can the bots get into the DMs and see that this is helping people?
No, they don't. They refuse to fucking see that.
So
I was just talking to somebody about it, and he thinks it's some bigger conspiracy. I don't think it is that. I think they actually think they're keeping people safe.
I think that a lot of the opportunities that we have in general, the thing that makes it is the thing that breaks it. And I think through learning how the media really works, you start to realize
What you can do and what you can't do.
right.
It's like a great guitar player who knows how to do everything isn't going to do everything.
Right.
They're
Yeah.
going to do the shit that is good.
Right.
But you do amazing stuff. Have you ever regretted anything you've eaten in any of your videos?
No.
Have you ever regretted any videos you've made?
No.
All right. Well,
It's my art.
It's amazing.
It's the Michael Jordan thing. He says, I just took a lot of shots.
Right.
You know, there were accounts before this that worked. There were a lot of accounts that didn't work.
That you tried?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. I was constantly.
What kind of stuff were you trying?
One of the funniest ones was taking 1-star reviews on businesses and responding the way management would really like to, but couldn't.
Like you'd see a 1-star review about something and then you'd respond.
It
as
is
a company.
so fun to go read 1-star reviews. It's if you know in the rare.
I agree. We've gotten like 20 1-star reviews about Dopey on iTunes, and whenever one comes up, I read it. There was one that like was like against my dad, and I would have I'd trick my father into reading the 1-star reviews because people get so angry, and it's funny.
The 1-star reviews are funny as hell. And if you can, so we had this little thing where we'd respond. It was like batting around memes with friends. You know what I mean? That's basically just batting around memes. Like memes have become a form of communication.
Yes.
And so I think memes are awesome. And I think the term meme has become so broad.
What does meme even mean?
I mean, what does it mean to me technically?
Like, what was a meme before there was like a meme on Instagram?
And to me, a meme is like the internet's gift to the world. And I think technically speaking, as it relates to form and format, I think that it was an image with text over it. And I think that it's become a video with a person in it that makes a strange face,
right,
or has a haircut, or says ornery a certain way.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's
and
like
it captures a feeling.
Anything is a meme. And so there's like this clip right now of a water tower falling over. And like before it hits the ground, I don't get the satisfaction of seeing it hit the ground. It says, you suck at ... And you suck at anything, right? And so it's like, it's a creative thing that we can relate to.
Yeah, I think I really, really like how you're elevating all this other stuff that people put down as like just other forms of expression.
Yeah, I think it's a creative outlet that we can relate to. And it's like I have accounts that fucking people just send me memes all day on. Now it's like people that I know. It's like we don't even text anymore. It's like we just fucking send each other memes and posts all day, right? And I don't know whether it's projection or humor sometimes.
Well, it's communication, and it's also it's relatability, and it's having something in common. It's a secret language, and it's a code, and it's friendship.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, it's fun.
How many other accounts are there besides IDGAF Foods?
Just a few, and this is really where I'm at these days, and I'm thinking there may or may not be digital art renaissance someday, but my art style is unique, and I'm proud of it, and I'm proud of the projects that I've worked on and the people that I've got to meet. I've got to work with some of the bands that I grew up listening to, or that I followed around.
What are some notable ones that you're very happy about?
Disco Biscuits, Dean DeLeo from Stone Temple Pilots. There's many Sound Tribe Sector 9, Nightmare, What So Not,
String Dusters,
the infamous String Dusters. Shout out the infamous String Dusters.
Listen, man, I really, really appreciate you taking the time to come from Salt Lake City, come to my dusty hotel room, he set up some fucking serious equipment. Can you show the lights?
Dude, I don't know if they want to see all the sausages made.
No, dude.
We got 2 soft boxes.
They know. It's funny because when you kept saying soft boxes, I thought...
I'll pan around the room after.
Dude, I thought
that way we don't blow the frame right now.
I thought you were talking about...
buckets?
Yeah.
I got the bucket down there.
I thought you were like, you had 2 soft buckets, 2 soft boxes for us to sit on.
That fucking bucket will give you athlete's foot.
Yeah, man. Dude, you do an amazing thing for addicts. I'm happy you do it. I'm very happy to finally have met you in person.
Thank you.
And thank you for coming on the show. You're
Appreciate
amazing. Right on, man.
We'll try again there because we blew the first one.
I thought it was all right.
No, the first one we were like
a lot of stuff was happening.
All right.
Thanks, man.
Right. Yeah, thank you.
It was great.